If your Dolby Atmos soundbar still doesn't sound like a real cinema, then you're definitely doing something wrong. Most people think buying a premium soundbar is enough to get that 3D surround experience, but the truth is, without the right settings, even the best soundbars can sound flat, weak, or completely underwhelming. In this video, I'm going to show you the top Dolby Atmos mistakes that are ruining your sound and, more importantly, how to fix them with the right settings. So make sure you watch till the end, because the number one mistake is something almost everyone ignores, and fixing it can completely transform your audio experience. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss more soundbar tips and guides. Another very common mistake people make with their Dolby Atmos soundbar is keeping virtual surround or enhancement modes turned on all the time. It might sound like a good idea because these features promise a wider and more immersive soundstage, but in reality, they often do more harm than good when you're watching real Dolby Atmos content. Dolby Atmos is already designed to create a natural 3D surround experience using dedicated audio channels. When you enable virtual surround or sound enhancement modes on top of that, your soundbar starts artificially processing the audio. This can lead to distorted sound positioning, where effects don't come from the correct direction anymore. Instead of hearing precise overhead or surround effects, you may notice the sound becoming muddy, exaggerated, or even confusing. Another issue with virtual surround is that it can affect dialogue clarity. Voices might start to feel less focused or slightly echoey because the soundbar is trying to spread the audio across a wider space artificially. This becomes especially noticeable during movies, where dialogue is very important for the overall experience. To fix this, you should always turn off virtual surround or extra sound enhancement features when you're watching Dolby Atmos content. Let the soundbar do its job naturally. Most modern soundbars are already tuned to deliver the best Atmos experience without needing additional processing. You can usually find these options in your soundbar settings under names like Virtual Surround, Sound Enhancement, or 3D Audio Mode. Instead, switch your soundbar to a dedicated Dolby Atmos or Movie mode, which is specifically optimized for cinematic content. This allows the sound to be processed exactly as intended by the creators, giving you accurate positioning, clear dialogue, and a true immersive experience. Once you disable these unnecessary enhancements, you'll notice a big difference. The sound will feel more balanced, more natural, and much more immersive. Effects will come from the right directions, dialogue will be clearer, and the overall experience will feel closer to what you hear in a real cinema. So remember, when it comes to Dolby Atmos, more processing doesn't mean better sound. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is keep it simple and let the technology work the way it's meant to. One of the most common and most overlooked mistakes people make with their Dolby Atmos soundbar is using the wrong HDMI setup. You might have an expensive soundbar and a good TV, but if your connection is not set up properly, you will never get true Dolby Atmos sound. Instead of a rich, immersive 3D audio experience, you'll end up with compressed, flat, and downgraded sound that feels nothing like a real cinema. The biggest issue here is not using HDMI eARC or ARC correctly. Dolby Atmos requires a high bandwidth connection to pass the full audio signal from your TV to your soundbar. If you're using a regular HDMI port or an optical cable, you're most likely not getting true Atmos at all. Optical cables, in particular, cannot carry full Dolby Atmos data, which means your soundbar is only playing a basic version of the audio. Another mistake people make is connecting their devices incorrectly. For example, if you're using a streaming device like a console or media player, plugging it directly into the TV without proper audio settings can sometimes limit the sound output. In many cases, the best setup is to either connect your device directly to the soundbar or ensure your TV is properly passing through the Atmos signal via eARC. To fix this, first make sure you are using the HDMI eARC or ARC port on your TV. This port is usually labeled clearly, so check the back of your TV and connect your soundbar to that specific port. Next, go into your TV's audio settings and enable options like eARC, pass-through, or bitstream output. These settings allow the full Dolby Atmos signal to reach your soundbar without being compressed or altered. Also, don't ignore the HDMI cable itself. Using a low-quality or outdated HDMI cable can sometimes cause issues with signal transmission. It's always better to use a high-speed or ultra-high-speed HDMI cable to ensure stable and full-quality audio performance. Once everything is set up correctly, you'll notice a huge difference. The sound will feel more spacious, more detailed, and much more immersive. You'll start hearing sounds coming from above, around you, and even behind you, just like in a real movie theater. So if your Dolby Atmos setup isn't sounding right, there's a very high chance your HDMI connection is the problem. Fix this one mistake, and your entire audio experience can change instantly. It's also important to avoid keeping the music or background effects too high compared to dialogue. Many users increase the bass or sound effects to feel more power, but this often makes voices hard to understand. For a balanced Atmos experience, always keep dialogue clear and slightly above the background audio. You can adjust this using your Soundbar's dialogue enhancement or voice mode feature. This way, you get both powerful sound and crystal clear voices without losing detail. If your Dolby Atmos soundbar still doesn't sound like a real cinema, then chances are you're using the wrong settings. A lot of people think that simply buying an expensive soundbar is enough to get that immersive 3D surround experience, but the truth is, without the right setup, even the best soundbars can sound flat, weak, or completely underwhelming. One of the most common mistakes people make is using the wrong sound mode. Many users keep their soundbar on standard or music mode, which actually limits the surround effect. For movies and Atmos content, you should always switch to a dedicated movie or Dolby Atmos mode to unlock the full potential of your system. Another big issue is enabling virtual surround features unnecessarily. While it may sound like a good idea, in many cases it actually distorts the real Atmos channels and creates an artificial soundstage instead of a true 3D experience. Moving on, a lot of users ignore proper calibration. This is a huge mistake because every room is different, and without calibration, your soundbar cannot adjust itself to your environment. As a result, dialogues may sound too low, or the surround effects might feel unbalanced. Always run the built-in calibration or tuning feature if your soundbar supports it. Another mistake that people often overlook is incorrect HDMI setup. If your soundbar is not connected through HDMI eARC or ARC properly, you won't get true Dolby Atmos audio. Instead, you'll be stuck with compressed or downgraded sound, which completely ruins the experience. So make sure you are using the correct HDMI port and high-quality cable to get full Atmos output. And finally, the biggest mistake of all, height speakers or Atmos channels not working properly. Dolby Atmos relies heavily on up-firing speakers to create that overhead sound effect, and if they are blocked, turned off, or not configured correctly, you will never feel that cinematic immersion. Make sure your soundbar is placed correctly, with no obstacles above it, so the sound can reflect properly from the ceiling. Once you fix these common mistakes, your soundbar can completely transform your home audio experience, delivering powerful bass, clear dialogue, and true surround sound that feels just like a movie theater. And if you really want to unlock the full potential of your soundbar, it's not just about the settings. The content you watch also matters. Always make sure you're playing real Dolby Atmos supported content, otherwise you won't experience true 3D sound. It's also important to balance your volume levels so that both dialogue and background effects stay clear. With these small adjustments, you can turn your room into a powerful, cinema-like audio experience. So those were the most common Dolby Atmos mistakes and the exact settings you need to fix them. Once you apply these changes, your soundbar will deliver a much more powerful, clear, and immersive experience, just like a real cinema at home. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more soundbar and home theater guides. And if you have any questions or want to improve your setup even further, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.